get together to agree on something, pop goes the weasel. Welcome, everybody. My name's Stuart Brisgell. That's David Solomon. I know David's smiling. He's like, where is he going with this? We bring you unfiltered, uncensored conversation, wide range of topics. This podcast dedicated to giving you a platform. We express opinions, share thoughts, experience, ideas, and hear from a variety of perspectives, contrary to most of you lefties' belief, because sometimes you actually have a good idea. It just doesn't happen very often. Look at California. Join us as we dive into the latest news, pop culture, and so much more. Rants from absurdity of modern life, deeper issues affecting society. So at the Rant Network, we've got you covered. So sit back, relax, and join us on a journey to discover exploration. It's time to join the Rant Network. Now, I started off trying to go pop goes the weasel. Well, the weasel is the Biden administration. You know, they are never content. And they seem to be doing, call the other person what we're doing, and we're just going to do it and look good doing it. You know, this is a Newsom trait. This has been an Obama trait. And now we have the Biden trait. And you know, if you think for a second, the world hasn't recognized that there's now about 18 million people in the United States that are undocumented, unvaccinated. And you know what? We don't know who the hell they are. As I said last broadcast, we talked about David traveling to the United States. And he had to go through all these different checks and balances just to get into this country. We have 18 million people. That's like the population of New York City. That's actually 2/3 of the population of California. I think there are 27 million. But at the end of the day, where is this all going? David, you look confused.
I'm very confused because I'm glad we had a conversation beforehand. My confusion is really about, I get it. All politicians, their only goal, get reelected. I never understood why Congress has to do this every 2 years. I never understood the system that it's your like 1 year of work and 1 year of politicking and 1 year of work and 1 year of electioneering. You know, the problem is that the Biden administration's decisions, and I'm saying the administration because I'm not so sure how much, Joe is in control anymore. But, we saw last week, you talked about immigration, that it's just completely out of control, and that the administration came up with a new messaging of saying, hey, it's not really us. It's the Republicans. They're holding off the border problem. That after 3 years of denying there's a border problem, now it's the Republicans really holding up all the problems. The same conversation goes on with Ukraine. It's like we're trying to figure out what you're doing in Ukraine. Now can't figure it out. And now the Middle East. Now the Middle East is a complete and utter joke at this point because the world has lost complete faith in the United States as a global leader. When an administration tells the enemy, we're coming to beat you up, go hide. That's exactly what the administration did last week. And what the administration did was tell the enemy, i.e. the Houthis and all the other Iranian proxies, get out of the way because we're going to come and bomb you. So get out of the way. Now, we have seen this game before, Stuart. When you play Western mindset against 7th century mindset, i.e. what the Houthis are about, Hamas are about. They want to take us all back to a time where women have no rights and it's all male controlled.
Wait a minute. You're trying to tell me that the Houthis and Iran are like backwards looking and Israel is forwards looking? I don't understand. Can you explain that, please?
I'm not saying they're backwards looking. I'm saying they're backwards acting in that sense that these terrorists want to take us back to a time where, religion, they could force whatever they want. They could slaughter you. Laws don't matter. Democracy doesn't matter. Whatever Israel and the United States stands for. Bye-bye. See ya.
So there'd be no more gay rights. There'd be no more transgender rights. There would be no religious rights.
There'd be no rights for blacks. There'd be no rights for women.
So again, let me just say this so we get this in print. You're trying to tell me gays for Palestine, transgenders for Palestine, blacks for Palestine, Christians for Palestine are as an oxymoron.
Stuart, again, thank you for, yes, re-emphasizing this whole business. But these are the people that support the Biden administration. These are the people who support the left. These are the people who are telling Israel they have to have a ceasefire. These are the people who do not understand that that it's all a political game. There's no here action plan. The action plan taken by previous administrations, and we've seen it whether it's Democratic or Republican, and we've seen it with Bill Clinton, what he had to do when he had to go in on Saddam Hussein, and we saw that with others, that when there's an intestinal fortitude in the White House, there is a lot more world order. When the United States attacked the Houthis, and both Iran and the Houthis say, we're going to escalate now, what you did was nothing. Listen, I'm just going to liken it to parenting. When you tell your child, if you do that again, I'm going to tell you not to do that again. That's effectively what the United States did with attacking the Houthis and Syria and these Iranian proxies. Stuart.
Isn't that a veil threat? That's the term, veil threat.
So it's more than a veiled threat, but yeah. And this administration doesn't understand. There's no diplomacy here. Israel has, come to the table numerous times in Qatar with Hamas, those bastards who continuously will not release 136 of the hostages, who say, you ceasefire first, and then we'll talk about the hostages, and maybe we'll talk about everything else. That's not how it works. And the United States is trying to pressure Israel to give in. Now, again, the world is watching this going, what are you doing? Now, yes, the left is the left. The United Nations is a corrupt organization and all that. But the administration, from immigration to Ukraine to the Middle East, people are wondering, is this the year that Joe Biden is politicking and electioneering? Because all those decisions seem to be pointing in that one direction.
I just think Joe Biden isn't there. He's
That's
a
why I said his
teleprompter.
administration. That's why I said his administration.
Yeah, and his vice president is, the hyena of the world. I don't get, David, where the world thinks this is all going. You're all afraid of escalating this conflict, but it's escalating with deaths of Americans and Europeaners and Christians around the world. No one gives a shit about the Jews, David. Let's be honest. No one cares, right? But as this escalates, where is American leadership? Where is French, British, German, Italian, EU leadership? I just don't see it. And you're right. The politicians just want to be reelected. And maybe if you follow the money, we'll have a deeper understanding why. Because you know what? United Nations has been doing a lot, like UNRWA, all these crazy organizations have been doing some crazy stuff for a very long time. And it's just now making it to the light. So, David,
I'm going to tell you something. When you say that it's now making the light, it's not. I'm sorry, I'm going to correct you on that statement. And this is where I go back to presidential administrations. And the only one who did anything was the Trump administration. And again, I'm not here to promote Trump, but he did some people. So all you left to stop saying he's just an ass and he doesn't do anything. Donald Trump listened very carefully to Israel when Israel said that UNRWA was so corrupt and presented a very solid case that UNRWA does not deserve a dime. It has to be blown up. He listened. But I'm sorry to say, George Bush Jr., Sr., Ronald Reagan, all the Republicans and Democratic presidents wanted to support them because they didn't want to make it look like they're favoring too much of it. And I don't care which side of the aisle you're on. The only one who listened was Donald Trump. Biden immediately put the money back in their place. And if you look in the 3 years of the Biden administration, nearly $1 billion went to UNRWA from the United States. This is the question I'm asking. Is anybody at home at the White House? Is anybody at home at the administration? Or is this just, like I said, electioneering at its best, catering to a group of people who are trying to turn the United States into Venezuela, who are trying to make the United States an unlivable place? Because frankly, if you create chaos, which is what they're very good at doing, the United States is going to implode. And we've talked
Well,
about this
well,
before.
what do you think? Hang on, David. What do you think? 18 million immigrants, of which have no income other than the visa cards being given to them by the American government and by the UN. By the way, the UN's reportedly giving these migrants as they travel maps, money, and explanations how to come into the country.
Yep.
So again, is the world trying to destabilize the U.S.? Well, I think the answer is pretty much in your face
Well,
because
yeah.
the destabilization of the U.S. only allows for the rise of China and Russia or communist world politics.
Listen,
And so, listen, it's not doomsday theory. It's real life Manchurian candidate. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. Why would
look,
you give your enemies billions of dollars, starting with Obama, continuing with Biden, making sanctions disappear versus reappear, and fight tooth and nail to do it? In fact, you
it's
still got two members of Congress that still think Hamas is a kindergarten club.
listen. What you said about the giving the Iranians all the money, the releasing of the $6 billion prior to the attack of October the 7th, is actually quite appalling. But this is what you're talking about, the administration. Because frankly, I don't know if Jolton Joe over there is awake. I got to tell you, I don't know if he's running the country. Reagan didn't run the country for years. Nancy did. I don't know who. I called it the Jim Henson
Well,
Muppets.
I don't know
I
if
don't know
Nancy did or the
Casper Weinberger or all the rest of those guys. But what I'm saying is that here you've got a president who's, I don't know. I don't know what's the deal with him. And the administration, the world is scared. You said, where's England, France, and Germany? I got to tell you something. Unfortunately, today, England, France, and Germany together is not strong enough without the United States. The United States has the military power. The United States has the economic power. The United States has the power to do what they need to do, but they're not because they're afraid of losing a vote. And I think that's absurd. So when you see the Biden administration saying, oh, we need more power to consolidate more power, we need to take away power from Congress because that's controlled by the Republicans. No. This game is, no, you can't play this game. And you started with this at the beginning saying, follow the money. Well, if Joe wants to control the money or the administration wants to control the money, basically you're changing the way your republic is working. And that's not what the United States is about.
David, you know what that means.
Now, let me ask you a question, okay? All right, let me ask you this one question. What exactly, I mean, listen, other than voting in Joe in November, but there's 9 more months to go between now and election day, right? Tomorrow, I would say, is 9 months to the election. What are we doing in between? What can we do?
Rant?
Well, aside from rant, I think there's pressure. We got to put pressure on this administration. We got to put pressure on everybody. Congress people, senators, you name it. Enough is enough. Everywhere.
Yeah, but that's not going to work. They don't care. They don't care. I mean, you're basing it off a group of people that, as you said, just want to get elected. They're going to say whatever they can to survive, and that's what they've always done. That's the problem.
Well, Stuart, if that's the case, then long live the Republic, because the Republic is dead.
Yeah, I guess that's what this rant is now summarizing. David, time to get a last word in here because we've gone all over the place today. My fault.
Well, no, but you know what? It's actually one theme. The system is so broken that, again, 2024 will be about votes. It'll be about electioning. It won't be about world order. That scares the crap out of me because that's what happened to Jimmy Carter back in 1980.
What?
He was worried about votes. He wasn't worried about keeping shit together. Next, Stuart, wrap it up.
Wrap it up. All right, guys. That's it for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in and listening, watching, podcasting, video casting. We hope you've enjoyed this conversation, gained some valuable insights. We appreciate your support. Hope you'll join us next time for another thought-provoking conversation that David and I do. Every once in a while, we bring on some interesting guests. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. In the meantime, don't forget to keep following us social media. We like the posts, YouTube. Hey, man, we're out there, buddy. We're here. Thanks for listening. Keep on ranting. And you know what? At the very least, David, say goodbye.